one camera's a bit off here. There we go. Blah. All right. Party time. Chapter 31. Saint. The crowd roared. Wild dogs! Wild dogs! Wild dogs! For the entire arena to be chanting for the opposing team was damn cool. I didn't scroll. There we go.
Opposing team was
Super cool.
Damn cool.
There was a subsequent angry roar from the die-hard Gators lovers. I said that kind of weird.
Opposing team was damn cool.
There was a subsequent angry roar from the die-hard Gators.
Opposing team was damn cool.
There was a subsequent angry roar from the die-hard Gators lovers, but even some of their crowd had been swayed in our direction. While the game had been tough, it all boiled down to the last shot. I was skating well, gliding on the ice, owning it. I shot the puck to my right wing, and Mark moved swiftly toward the goal, at the last minute passing it off to me. My teammates were working well. The goal was in sight. Everything was going perfectly. Until the right defenseman came at me from nowhere. I'd been tripped half a dozen times, but not so intentionally. I went down, hard, skidding across the ice. Whistles blew, the crowd roared in anger. Anger boiled through me, and as soon as my body stopped skidding, I scrambled to my feet, almost stumbling as a jolt of pain pounded the left side of me. The bastard Gators player grinned at me. He'd done it on purpose, of course, to break my momentum. I flung myself forward, caught by two of my teammates, while the referee was debating punishment. Don't do it, man. He's not worth it, Eric hissed. Yeah, just shake it off. Let's just make the goal so we can get the fuck out of here, Pete said, as he glared at the defenseman's oopsies.
Pete said. Out of here. Pete
said, as he glared in the defenseman's direction. I sucked in my breath, snarling at him. But I was prepared to walk away, and would have if the asshole hadn't shot me the middle finger. With tremendous force, I shoved Eric and Pete out of my way, and skating with fire burning deep within the Didn't say it right.
Pete out of my way. Jot me the middle finger. Jot me the middle finger.
Okay.
Jot me the middle finger.
With tremendous force, I shoved Eric and Pete out of my way, and skating with a fire burning deep within the God.
Jot me the middle finger.
With tremendous force, I shoved Eric and Pete out of my way, and skating with a fire burning deep within in the man's direction. Just as I was about to throw a punch, another commotion broke out, but this time from the stands. I glanced around me, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Then the Jumbotron highlighted someone in the stands. What the hell? What is she doing? Eric asked. More amusement.
Hell? Hell?
What is she doing? Eric asked, complete amusement in his voice. Blinking, I stared at the face of my beautiful fiancée as she argued with the ref. How she'd gotten his attention, I might never know, but she was berating him with style. Her expression was fierce, and she was waving her arms, and if I didn't say that right...
And with style. And with...
Kai Jorgensen, hi. Four Wheel Bros says heel.
Style. Style. Style.
Her expression was fierce, and she was waving her arms in fury. She's pissed because the ref issued a minor penalty. Pete was clearly impressed. So was I.
Minor penalty.
Pete was clearly impressed. So was I. I skated closer, homing in on what was being said over the screams and whistles. Maybe my extra senses were truly kicking in, since she'd come into my life. Can you hear anything? Eric asked. She's arguing that the defenseman...
Eric asked.
She's arguing that what the defenseman did was egregious enough there should be a misconduct penalty, and the guy should be tossed from the game completely. Holy crap! Is the ref allowing her to show him something on her phone? Carl, our captain, had skated to our group. Isn't that your fiancé? Yep. She knew the ref couldn't see what happened. My guess is she took a video. What happened to the ones in the arena? Pete tossed out. Who knows? But look at the guy and look at her face, would ya? I was practically beaming as I watched her berating the man. I'm weird with my B's today.
Her face, would ya? Her face, would ya?
I was practically beaming as I watched her berating the ref. That would either get her a luxury box for life or kicked out permanently. But it was a hell of a lot of fun to watch. As soon as the ref turned around, the crowd quieted. Seconds later, we were still in shock. She managed to get the defenseman kicked out, Eric said, shaking his head. That lady deserves a bottle of champagne. Now, let's win this damn game. I get the woot.
This damn game. This damn game.
Okay, section pause. Woot, woot, woot! I threw my fist in the air as I skated around the perimeter of the ice. I skated slowly as I made eye contact with Lily. She was on her feet, clapping with the rest of our fans, but there was a smile of satisfaction on her face. Maybe she'd been trying to prove her loyalty or simply allowing me
Face.
Maybe she'd been trying to prove her loyalty or simply allowing me to know she was in my corner. None of that mattered. For all the glory, the pats on the back, and Coach telling me I'd done
None of that mattered.
For all the glory, the pats on the back, and Coach telling me I'd done a damn good job, there was one person I wanted to be near right about now. And waiting until after we faced a throng of reporters wasn't going to happen. The camera seemed to know exactly what I was doing. One side pinned on my free skate, the other on her face as I reared. Neared.
exactly what I was doing.
One side pinned on my free skate, the other on her face as I neared. There was no mistaking the delight on either of our faces. As I came closer, she leaned over. I flew right by her, skidding to a stop and spinning around again. My antics were caught. Another roar went up in the stadium. I skated in a circle before slowly coming to a stop right in front of her. "What did you think?" I asked, grinning at her and enjoying the sparkle in her eyes. "Not bad for a rookie." "A rookie, huh? I'll show you what a rookie can do." When I grabbed her around the waist, she gasped, even pummeling her small fists against me. I laughed as I dragged her into my arms. The crowd went wild. I held her tightly, spinning her around as I continued skating around the perimeter. We were vaguely cognizant of someone tracking my grandstanding over the loudspeaker, but for the first time, I wasn't paying a damn bit of attention. Neither was she. We only had eyes for each other. "You're crazy. You do know that, aren't you?" Okay, you do know.
For each other.
"You're crazy. You do know you are," she muttered. "So what? It gives you something to work with." "Oh, I have plenty." I held her near, enjoying having her so close. She had her hand pressed on my chest, and the cameras captured her ring. As I'd done before, I'd fucked up with her, saying the wrong thing. I'd been able to tell it in her eyes, and had kicked myself the entire time since for acting like an idiot. She'd been cold on the plane. While still playing her part, caught off guard when a couple of people had asked for her autograph, not mine.
Not mine.
People had always bent over backwards to please me before this mess. She never had. Not once. She'd done her best to keep me in line, giving me shit when I needed it, and allowing just enough rope to hang myself before yanking
When I needed it.
And allowing just enough rope to hang myself before yanking me in. I have to do that again. TikTok, this is not serious. This is a book. Do not ban me.
Needed it. And
allowing just enough rope to hang myself before yanking me in. Even on the plane, quiet or not, she'd found a way with just her eyes to put me in my place when the rest of the team were acting like children. When I knew it! I got banned on TikTok. Silly TikTok. This is a book. Nothing happened. There was no violence. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes. Thank you, overlords. You're wrong, overlords. That's silly. That's silly and dumb. God. Well, there goes my most engaging platform for the rest of the duration. Love it. Gotta love that a little bit.
Like children.
I should have known better. I thought that was, thought that'd slide.
Like children.
When I'd suggested a selfie of the two of us sitting in our seats, she'd snatched the phone from me when I'd made a funny face. Then she'd grilled me for 2 solid minutes in her whispered words about how I needed to portray a good image for the team, not be some jokester who thought he was all that in a bag of chips. In the end, she'd gotten her way. The photograph with our heads together, huge smiles on our faces, while she held up her hand showing off her ring, was squeaky clean. The 200,000 likes later barely satisfied her. The 200,000 likes later had barely satisfied her. She'd wanted 1 million. The girl dreamed big. She also had a lust for life, a passion for defending the little guy. and a need to control the situations around her. All in all, the girl was hot when she talked down to me, even hotter when she spoke her mind freely.
Mind freely. Mind freely.
Something had caught me off guard during the middle of the game. I'd been playing for her. I'd wanted to win for her. Because this boy was completely off the grid. No more man whore. No more puck bunnies. I'd fallen hopelessly in love with her. Now I just needed to convince her it was cool to be involved with a bad boy shifter. Man, I love how I got banned on TikTok. 0.1 seconds into my live. It's my favorite part.
Boy shifter.
All right, next section.
Boy shifter.
Lily. There were certainly worse things than being considered the it girl because of your association with the hottest hockey player in the league. There wasn't a person on this planet who hadn't watched me on the Jumbotron, both as I'd yelled at the referee, as I'd known what the hell I was talking about, or when he'd carried me around the ice rink while waving to his fans. Some had been wishing they were me. Others had wanted to stab. We're banned. Muting that.
Wishing they were me.
Others had wanted to stab me with a sharp utensil because I'd captured the man's heart after so many others had tried. Maybe in 5 more minutes, TikTok will be nice enough to allow me back in search results.
Had tried.
If they only knew it was all pretend. What are you thinking about? Saint asked from beside me. The city lights rolled by.
It's rolled by.
I had my head resting on the soft leather, enjoying the hum of the engine. My face was cracked from smiling, the reporters taking their sweet time asking dozens of questions. I'd certainly felt the sting of snubbing from the female reporters who'd glared at me while planning my demise. All I wanted was a long, hot bath, a glass or 5 of wine, and a good night's sleep. Instead, we were on our way to some fabulous club in the heart of Tampa.
Sleep.
Instead, we were on our way to some fabulous club in the heart of Tampa, where I'd need to pretend again. I swirled the ring on my finger, thinking about how much money I was carrying around with me. I was more than just uncomfortable keeping it on my finger, fearful I'd lose the ring without trying. I'd had a habit of doing that over the years. The man was riding high on the win, and he deserved the accolades he'd gotten. At least I'd learned that much about the hockey game.
Accolades he'd gotten.
At least I'd learned that much about the game of hockey. What am I thinking? St. Masters, you are one badass hockey player, I said from beside him, and could tell my comment shocked the hell out of him. Don't forget the savage part, he grinned, but his eyes flashed something different than just accepting a compliment. I chewed on that whole sentence.
Savage part.
He grinned, but his eyes flashed. Flashed!
Savage part. He grinned. Savage part.
He grinned, but his eyes flashed something different than just accepting a compliment. I'm sure you won't allow me to forget. He laughed in that deep... Oh, my dogs are barking. Hooray! Shush, please. Shush while we're recording. You don't want to become an enemy of the state?
Forget.
All right, where was I?
Forget. He laughed in that deep...
He laughed in that deep, throaty voice of his, and if he kept it up, I'd lose my anger for him. I should be angry with him for carrying me around the arena after the win, but wasn't being carried around in a rugged man's arms every girl's fantasy? No, I will not, he said, with another growl in his voice. A few seconds ticked by. Now that we were all alone, except for the burly driver doubling as a security guard sitting in the driver's seat 2 rows in front, things had gotten awkward between us again. You look hot tonight. Perfect for the club we're going to. His voice had deepened. Why, thank you. I'd changed into something sexy for yet another photo op. The strange thing was, I couldn't get out of my mind that I'd asked him to shift. Didn't you say... Oopsies.
Asked him to shift.
Didn't you say you needed your rest? A massage? Isn't your leg hurting? Yeah, it is, but so what? We need to celebrate. That was a big win, thanks to you getting the defenseman tossed out at the last minute. I sailed to victory. Uh-huh. You sailed with the help of your 2 wingmen. He was a pretty guy. Maybe I'm sorry I had him tossed out. Our banter was less than formal, less awkward, and highly sexual. We were sitting in the back seat of an SUV with a private driver. While some of the other team members had been supposed to be along for the ride, Saint had paid the driver to... Oopsies.
Ride?
Saint had paid the driver... Oh, did my band... Oh, I'm not banned anymore. Hooray!
Saint had paid the...
Saint had paid... Oh my god, say the words. Huh? Say the words.
Long
For the ride, Saint had paid the driver extra to take us privately. Somehow, I knew he had something up his sleeve. His sigh was heavy. He was tapping his foot on the floorboard. I'd seen him wince several times after getting off the ice, but him being antsy had nothing to do with a possible problem in an upcoming game. What's wrong, other than you're injured? I asked. Maybe a lot of things. You figured out life has been pretty easy for me. Maybe you're right in that I used my special skills to get where I'm at, but I truly love the game. He was keeping his voice low so the driver didn't pick up on what we were saying. I never questioned that or your dedication. Just your delivery on questions and your craziness when off the ice. Which you found a way to... Okay.
Ice.
Which you found a way to lock away. He was still laughing, but there was truth to what he was telling me. You know, I keep finding a reason to apologize around you, Lily. That's not like me. You make me crazy with the... My computer is going crazy right now.
That's not like me.
You make me crazy with desire and anger and a lot of other emotions. So I put my foot into my mouth. I don't know what to think any longer. You don't want to be around me. I get that. Why would you? It's not that I don't want to be around you. And trust me, savage man, you make me crazy too. I just need more in life. I don't want to ever again be someone's second. Not to anything, including hockey. Maybe that's unfair. That ex did a number on you, huh? Just hearing Damien mentioned brought out the beast in me.
Beast in me.
I still wanted to claw the man's eyes out. And we re-engage that microphone.
The man's eyes out.
Damien was my first real relationship. He made me believe being together was easy. At first.
There was easy.
At first. I think I lost myself in him, in the thought of being in love, in the desire to be married and have kids. He didn't want the same thing. Well, marriage, but one that suited his quest for greatness.
Greatness.
Fucking jerk. What about now? What does the little librarian want?
Librarian want.
I want balance. I want a family and a career as well. I'd like a nice little house in the suburbs with a white picket fence. Don't tease me. I'm aware the picture-perfect relationship doesn't exist any longer. That's okay. A girl can still dream. You're living your dreams, and I love that for you. You deserve every bit of it, Saint. I think you know whether or not this chemistry is a part of your heritage. That's not what you want. That doesn't anger me in the least. Does that sound crazy? Man. Ooh, time out. I need to check my 3D prints. Gypsy Danger, how are you doing? Come on, camera. Come on, camera. Okay, you're gonna take forever, that's fine. Crimson Typhoon, how are you doing? That's going well, Okay, back to Gypsy Danger. I named my 3D printers after Jaegers and Pacific Rim. It makes my heart happy. Would you like to load? Momo, welcome. I'm busy checking my 3D prints. Give me a second. If it would load, I'd be able to continue. Please, sire. What's up? Okay, I'm just gonna let this take 50 minutes to load. One of my cameras on my 3D printer takes its sweet time. And let me retry. There we go. Okay, here we go.
Sound crazy?
The awkward tension had returned in full force. Of course, the second I do this, it starts going. Oh no, it's failing. That's not good. Stop. It had ripped a part of itself off. This is why it's good to keep an eye on your 3D prints. Ew! Yeah, that wouldn't have worked out at all. Wonder what caused that. It's strange. Anyways, I'll fix it later.
Worse.
Actually, I do have to go get that off the nozzle. Dang it. I'll be back. Fast as fuck. There we go.
Full force.
Nah, it doesn't. He glanced out the window. Not at all. Then we followed through with the deal we made. No harm, no foul, I told him. Another ache forming, only this time in my heart. Except you've got it all wrong. What does that mean? As huge of a man as he was, there was an entire foot between us. I tried to remind myself a dozen times. That night alone, we were merely faking our relationship. But the lines had been so blurred, I had no idea what side I was on any longer.
Relationship.
But the lines had become so blurred, I had no idea what side I was on any longer.
Relationship.
But the lines had become slow blurred.
Relationship.
But the lines had become so blurred, I had no idea what side I was. Say the line!
Relationship.
But the lines had become so blurred, I had no idea what side I was on any longer. He seemed out of sorts, more so than I'd seen him. Just listen to me for a minute, Lily. I'm not a picture-perfect anything. The only thing I'm really good at is hockey. That doesn't make me the best boyfriend material. But here's the thing. I'm trying to tell you that maybe the proposal was real. Because of what I said, I get why you don't believe me. I wouldn't believe me either. Truth is, I never wanted to be a romantic. Not once. Ask anyone. But I find myself wanting to create romance with you and for you. Around you. Now, I know what you're going to say. What am I going to say? I interrupted.
What you're going to say? What am I going...
I gotta do that better. That was
Round
shite.
you. Round you.
Now, I know what you're going to say. What am I going to say? I interrupted. There were tingles floating through every inch of my body.
My body.
And why was it that I was breathless when I was around him? Why couldn't I think straight around him? That it's hormones, since we're supposed to be mates. But I assure you, I know exactly what hormones feel like, and this is something else entirely. I can't seem to get enough of you. You're in was the word I was looking for.
Enough of you.
You're in my mind all the time. Hell, it feels like you're crawling in my blood. I can't sleep without seeing your face. I can't eat without thinking about mayonnaise. He laughed and threw me a look that screamed of angst and lust. And something else. True sincerity.
Ernie.
He turned toward me, shaking his head. I'm telling you, Lily Weathers, the biggest pain in the ass I've ever experienced, and the one woman who's driven me crazy with desire, that I've fallen in love with you. I know it sounds nuts. I get that there's no chance you'll ever believe a guy like me. I get all that. But I love you. I love the way the sun shines off your hair, whether you have a braid or not. I adore the I adore the freckles skimming across your nose, and the way your brows furrow when you're pissed at me, which happens a lot. And the moment you walk into a room and there isn't a single man who doesn't hunger for you, I'm proud and pissed off at the same time. I have to mute this. TikTok is very ridiculous.
Same time.
I want to rip them to shreds. Oops. Fuck! Okay.
Pissed off at the same time. Pissed off at the same time.
I want to rip them to shreds because you're my girl.
Pissed off at the same time.
I want to rip them to shreds because you're my girl. Mine. All mine. There we go. Microphone back on.
All mine.
Not because you're my mate. Not because we have a crazy chemistry. But because I love you. If any man ever tries to come in between us, I think I'd go crazy and all furry and... He took a deep breath after spitting out the words, and I was absolutely floored, uncertain what to say. And I've pissed you off again, he said, much more quietly than before. Shifting away, he closed his eyes. No, I whispered, my heart fluttering. That was the most beautiful thing any man has ever said to me in my life. I love you too, Saint, for all your crazy smiles and the
For all your too, Saint.
for all your crazy smiles and the Let's line this up right.
You too, Saint.
For all your crazy smiles and the way you look at me. The insanity that's your life and the way you can make me laugh. Really? I glanced to ensure the driver wasn't paying any attention before climbing into his lap. How about I show you? Oh, you are one bad girl. You have no idea, but I plan on showing you. What's up, Amber? You're here for the next chapter. If I could press these words correctly. What happened? What happened? What happened? Don't want that. I want this over here. And this over there. 32. Hockey doke, here we go. Roomie's got the zoomies. Give him a scratch for me. Chapter 32. Lily. Chapter 32. Lily. Craziness had become a part of my life since meeting Saint. Because of him, I'd pushed all my boundaries in ways I'd never dreamed of doing. He'd been the catalyst for an awakening that I hadn't known I wanted. An entirely different lust for life. Not just because I found him as attractive as I did infuriating, but also because he'd challenged my beliefs.
Beliefs.
My sudden desire had little to do with being mates.
Beliefs.
My sudden desire had little to do with being mates. The thought continued to bring a maniacal laugh into my system. Except, not right now. All I felt at this moment was complete, unbridled desire. My body was on fire, my skin tingling from just being this close. No man had ever said something so heartfelt in my life. Certainly not Damien.
Damien.
Selfish bastard. I rocked on Saint's lap, shifting back and forth. I rocked on Saint's lap, shifting back and forth across the thick bulge between his legs. His eyes were glassy. I got restricted again for saying selfish bastard. Wow. Incredible. Incredible work. Incredible work, TikTok. Incredible work. Dude, these controls are insane. Insane. I have no idea I can't even believe that. And it looks like it's just you and me until you leave, because nobody else I'm not. Oh, and she's gone. Cool. Cool.
His legs. His eyes were glassy.
I can say all these dirty words, but I can't say.
His legs. His eyes were.
Okay, anyways, let's not give a fuck.
His legs.
His eyes were glassy, yet twinkling in the passing lights. What are you doing, Lily Flower, other than driving me crazy? With my arms wrapped around his neck, I kept shifting. Anything I want. His nostrils flared, and he shook his head slowly. You better be careful.
Slowly.
You better be careful, or I'll lose control. As I lowered my head, I licked my lips. That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Or
I didn't wait for him to make the first move, capturing his mouth as he'd done with mine a half-dozen times. I held our lips in place as he rubbed his huge hands up and down my back. Vibrations danced through me, and every nerve was standing on end. As I pushed my tongue into his mouth, he immediately sucked on it. Hey, we're in the back of a vehicle. I didn't think it was going to get this steamy. Hold on. Yeah. Guess what, guys? We're going to mute for a little bit. Ooh.